Tonight, if you walk outside after the sun is gone, something in you will change. You won't notice it happening. Your steps slow, your ears sharpen, your eyes search the tree line for shapes that aren't there. You tell yourself there is nothing to fear. Your body does not listen. Because this fear did not start with you. It didn't start with your parents, or their parents, or 100 generations before them. It started before your species even existed. Scientists actually have a name for what wakes up in you at night. They call it an ancient alarm system, built by something that came long before Homo sapiens even existed, something that hunted in the dark for millions of years, long before anyone carried fire, long before anyone built a wall, long before anyone even had a word for danger. In the world your ancestors lived in, day and night were not the same world. Daylight meant you could see danger coming. Night meant danger could see you first. Lions, leopards, and hyenas do most of their hunting between dusk and dawn. Their eyes were built for darkness. Yours were not. For millions of years, the sun going down was not a peaceful event. It was a shift change. The predators clocked in. Even now, when a light disappears, when a room goes silent, your body still remembers the shift change. Your pupils widen, your heart rate climbs, the hair on your arms lifts, an old reflex, from a body that used to have fur. You are not imagining a threat. You are running a program that is millions of years old. In 1924, in a limestone quarry in South Africa, workers found the skull of a child. Scientists called it the Taung Child, one of the earliest hominin fossils ever discovered. For decades, no one understood the strange marks in its eye sockets. Then, in 2006, researchers proposed something disturbing. The marks matched the talons of a large eagle. This early human ancestor may have been carried off and killed by a bird of prey. But eagles were not the only predators watching. Fossilized remains from Swartkrans Cave in South Africa show something else. Bite marks that match, almost exactly, the teeth of an ancient leopard. Your ancestors were not simply living alongside predators. In some seasons, in some caves, they were food. But being hunted was only the surface of the problem. Most big cats are crepuscular or nocturnal hunters. The danger wasn't spread evenly across the day. It was concentrated exactly where human eyes were weakest. After sunset, before sunrise, a human without fire, without walls, without a weapon that reached beyond arm's length, had almost no way to detect an approaching predator in true darkness. Smell could warn you seconds before an attack. Sound could warn you seconds before an attack. But by the time you saw a shape moving in the dark, it was often already too late. So a strange kind of selection began. The individuals who relaxed in the dark did not always live long enough to pass that calmness on. The individuals who startled at shadows, who kept watch, who felt uneasy in open darkness, were more likely to survive the night and raise the next generation. Fear was not a flaw in the system. Fear was the system. But if hunting in the dark gave predators an advantage, you'd expect that advantage to shift with the moon. And it does. In 2011, biologist Craig Packer studied decades of lion attacks on humans in Tanzania. He found the attacks were not random through the month. They spiked sharply in the days just after a full moon. Exactly when the moon rises late and early evening hours turn darkest. The closer humans got to true darkness during hunting hours, the more often they were attacked. The moon itself was a variable in a matter of life and death, and no one had to teach a single villager to feel it. Something in them already knew which nights were more dangerous. But then, something changed the rules completely. About 1 million years ago, in a cave called Wonderwork, South Africa, researchers found burned bone and ash deep inside, far from any natural fire source. It's some of the earliest solid evidence of controlled fire, made by an ancestor of modern humans, likely Homo erectus. For the first time, night stopped being a period of pure vulnerability. A fire meant light. Light meant sight. and sight meant a predator lost its biggest advantage. Groups that once scattered into silence after dark could now sit together, awake, watching a small, controlled flame push the darkness back just a few feet. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied modern hunter-gatherer groups in the Kalahari and found something remarkable about their fire-lit nights. During the day, conversations were mostly practical. Complaints, gossip, arguments over resources. But at night, around the fire, the same people told stories, myths, warnings about the dark. Lessons wrapped inside tales meant to be remembered. The fire didn't just keep predators away. It became the place where fear was turned into memory, and memory was turned into culture. Every campfire story about monsters in the dark may be an echo of something that was once completely real. Picture one specific night, more than 700,000 years ago. A small band of early humans sits inside the mouth of a cave. Outside, past the flickering edge of the firelight, something moves along the tree line. No one can see it clearly. No one needs to. Every head turns toward the sound at exactly the same moment. No one has to explain why. The fear is already shared, already understood, already old. One person adds another branch to the fire. The flame rises. The shape at the tree line does not come closer. Tonight, that group survives. And the fear that made them turn their heads together survives with them, carried forward into every one of their descendants. You'd think thousands of years of streetlights, walls, and locked doors would have erased that old alarm system by now. It has not. In laboratories, scientists can actually watch this old alarm switch on in real time. Researchers have measured something called the startle reflex, the automatic flinch your body makes in response to a sudden sound. In one well-known study, participants sat in a room and heard bursts of noise, once with the lights on, once in complete darkness. Their flinch response was measurably stronger every time the lights went out. Nothing else changed. Same room, same sound, same person. Only the darkness was different, and the body reacted like something was already closer. There's a reason your worst nights of anxiety often peak in the same dead hours before dawn. Sleep researchers have long noted that alertness hits its lowest point right before sunrise, the same hours predators once found easiest for a final approach. Some clinicians even have a name for it, the witching hour, the time when panic, night terrors, and racing thoughts are most likely to strike. Your ancestors weren't just afraid of night in general. Their bodies dialed the alarm highest exactly when danger was statistically greatest, right before the light came back. You may call it insomnia. It may be something much older. The global outdoor and security lighting industry is now worth tens of billions of dollars a year, sold almost entirely on a single promise: light will make you feel safe. The home security industry sells cameras, alarms, and motion sensor lights. Market research values it well beyond $30 billion every single year, built almost entirely around a fear humans already carried before locks even existed. Horror films consistently place their scariest scenes in darkness, in silence, in isolation, because directors don't need to invent your fear. They only need to trigger the one you already have. None of these industries created your fear of the dark. They simply learned to stand in the exact spot where an ancient alarm still goes off and profit from the moment it rings. Here is the uncomfortable part. Most modern humans will never meet a lion, a leopard, or a hyena in the wild. You may go your entire life without ever being hunted by anything. And still, some nights, walking to your car in an empty parking lot, your body will behave exactly like it did a million years ago. It's not because you're afraid of parking lots. It's because your nervous system does not know the predator is gone. It only knows the dark looks the same as it always did. Researchers who study fear across cultures have found something consistent. Fear of the dark appears in children as young as 2 or 3 years old, long before they've ever been taught what predators are. long before any parent has told them a single scary story. Some psychologists argue this points to something innate, not learned. An inherited alarm, passed down the same way eye color or height is passed down. You did not choose to feel uneasy in an unlit room. You inherited it. The same way you inherited fingers built for gripping branches, your body will never climb again. So the next time your skin prickles in a dark hallway or your pace quickens on an unlit street, understand what is actually happening. You are not being irrational. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are hearing an alarm that has been ringing in one body or another for over 1,000,000 years. An alarm built by ancestors who did not have walls or fire or streetlights, only awareness. They listened to the dark, and some of them lived long enough to become you. Tonight, when the lights go out, remember this. The fear is not a malfunction. The fear is an inheritance. And somewhere behind your eyes, something very old is still keeping watch.